Hey there guys, it's Jasonmazda, and it is a wonderful day to be building in The Sims 4. It's beautiful outside, but it's even more fun playing this game. I am absolutely loving The Sims 4 so far. So many awesome new features, and I'm getting the hang of it really quickly, which is fantastic. I'm going to be starting a new series today, which is going to be Let's Build a Modern Bachelor Pad in The Sims 4. So that is pretty much what this is going to be. So this is going to be the first part. It's going to be about 20 minutes long, and it's going to focus on the exterior as well as the landscaping of the house. This is going to be a three-part series, so the next two parts are going to involve the interior design of the house, which is going to take a little bit longer than the exterior. The inspiration I used for this house is actually a house I built in The Sims 3 a while ago. It's actually been my most successful YouTube house. Uh, the YouTube video of the house that this bachelor pad is based off actually has over 700,000 views, which is insane. That is just incredible. So I wanted to try building this house in The Sims 4. As there's no constrained floor elevation, I also wanted to try out a new modern roofing design, which I saw another simmer doing in their build, so I wanted to give it a shot in mine. I also wanted to use some of the curved roofing tools, and I wanted to try and create an outdoor decking area for this house, which actually turned out quite nice in the end. So here I am using the normal roofs. I made them flat. What I did was I just lowered the slope and the curvature. I painted them jet black, and I added a trim into it as well. So you can see a little bit of the roofing pattern, but generally it looks just like it's black. Black tiles, and it's also got a little bit of a foundation-y trim sort of thing, which looks awesome. I wish they would incorporate the idea of just being able to have a trim on the normal roof, but until then, this works perfectly fine. So I'm still struggling to actually allow my game to allow me to place floor tiles on upper roofs without actually like specifically making designated rooms. But that's okay. So I'm removing some of the sort of walls just so I can add in some ceilings on the upper floors. You'll actually see this video jump around a little bit. There's a house across the road which I kept flying into when I was originally building this. So I apologize that. Hopefully it shouldn't be too long. And the major difference with this house and the house I built in The Sims 3 was the window placement. I wasn't able to place windows where I'd place stairs and stuff like that. Also, the interior is completely different, so it is quite unique, and it's a very different house to what I've built before. However, it's similar enough so you'll be like, oh, I remember Jason building this house, stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I've actually had two of my creations featured on the Sims 4 gallery. They were two rooms that I actually use for this house. I actually created them in this house, and then I decided, oh, this is going to take some time. Why not upload the individual rooms to the gallery? And Maxis obviously saw them and really liked them. So they featured two of them, and then they pretty much went viral. So one of them now has almost 4,000 downloads, and then the other ones are just a little bit under 2,000, which is actually the highest downloaded room within the last 7 days, and I think it's one of the most favorited creations as well. Those rooms also now appear on the Maxis tab, which is the default searching tab for the gallery, which is really great, which allows me to have a greater audience looking at my creations. I start with this brown sort of balcony fencing. I actually decided I didn't like it very much in the end, so we go back towards the end to fix that up. However, I do like this balcony. It would be great. You'd get to look out over the road. It's not really too invasive as it doesn't like block anything. It's just a nice little balcony. I really like the sort of backwards S shape of this modern build as well. So you'll see here that I tried to put all these windows in, and eventually when I finished creating the house, some of the windows have been removed and I replaced them with other ones because it wasn't allowing me to place them correctly there. And then I'm going to use some nice doors as well to sort of connect the indoors and the outdoors, which is generally what a door does. But I hope you guys like these videos as well. I've actually just posted a thread on the Sims, I think it's the Sims community page, which is basically this forum for Simmers, and you can upload Sims 4 lots, information about that sort of stuff, which is very fun. So I did that, got some great responses. I'm going to be continuing to update that thread, so I'll make sure to link the thread in the description, and you'll be able to see work in progresses of my current builds, stuff like that. You can also find that on my Twitter account, which is @JasonMazdaTweet, which also will have a link in the description. These are just real things if you'd like to be notified of what I am currently doing, creations-wise, and whatnot. And also if you want to interact with me, you can always interact with me on the YouTube comments, but Twitter and the forum post is definitely more likely to get a response. Because you can contact me directly rather than just commenting on a video. I like the window idea I use for this. I use windows in sort of a arrow shape, and then I cover it eventually with this stone wallpaper, which really contrasts the whites of the windows, and it looks really unique. It's different. It's not in the original design for this house. I also end up putting a foundation on this house. I also really would like to be able to create basements in this game, but it doesn't appear that we can do that at the moment. I'd really also like to play with the terrain tools so I could like create a house which is elevated, or you know, sort of things like we did with the Sims 3, Sims 2 and Sims 3. So I'm really looking forward to those coming in a patch update. I also noticed that they just took down the gallery for updates, which is interesting. It's back up now, so it's all fine. I wonder what they did with it. Hopefully they can add some new searching options as well, which would be cool. Maybe Maxis is not the default tab. But yeah, I am really happy with how this house has turned out so far. I've actually completed it. Part 2 will be coming tomorrow and part 3 the day after that, so make sure you stay tuned for those uploads. And especially the interior of this house is actually very unique. I built it completely by myself as opposed to the other 2 houses I've done so far. I actually got some help with some other rooms I downloaded from the gallery. So I'm going to add this I'm trying to add outdoor tiles so it can come up on the foundation. It didn't work. I thought it would I thought the tiles would just go up because they were connected to the house, but no, you need to place down a wall foundation and then you can adjust it from there. I also really wanted to put like a fountain in the foundation, which I was actually really surprised that you couldn't do that. But what can you do? Hopefully they can do something like that in an update. Yeah, so I realized here that you have to put in a foundation, and it connects fairly easily, so it wasn't too much of a problem. And then I add in a new one to sort of get the shape that I wanted, and this just goes around the entire house as well. And since it's low enough, it doesn't matter where your Sims try to step up onto. I have placed stairs, but you can actually step up just normally onto the low foundations because it's pretty much just like a single step anyway, which is pretty cool. I'll put some stairs where I'm changing the windows at the moment, but you'll get to see that in a little bit. So I wanted to create this sort of longer deck formation in this area. I actually end up putting like a barbecue table, interesting things like that. With the decking area, I was sort of testing out the curving pieces of the foundation and then just trying to make it symmetrical. At the moment, you'll notice that it's not symmetrical, so I eventually get there, and then I realize, oh, I can drag one out and drag one in. I also do that with the front. I was trying to upload this to the gallery. It actually took a really awful display picture, which isn't very good. Since the house is situated so close to the road, you actually like only see part of the house, so you see like the top floor of the house, which is unfortunate, but hopefully, since you guys have been watching these YouTube videos, and I might do a showcase video at the end, if I can get the hang of the camera tools in this game, it would be really interesting to see how this house does in terms of downloads. Maybe Maxis will favourite it. That would be pretty awesome again. I also just changed this a little bit as well because it wasn't letting me place down the column the way I wanted it to. So the house is pretty much just white and stone pattern, so fairly neutral, modern colours. The idea is this house is for a bachelor or for a small family. I actually put in a master bedroom and then I put in a single bedroom with some kid stuff in there. So it can be very much used for a family as well as a bachelor. I just like calling it a bachelor pad because it's something that I could definitely see myself living in eventually if I got rich enough. Maybe when I finish uni. I'm also a huge fan of the landscaping I did at this house. This house was actually really fun to build. I've been working on some assignments this week for uni, and I've actually been procrastinating by playing The Sims for a lot of it. But I'm recording the audio to this now because I've actually finished the assignment, which is great. It's due tomorrow, don't have to do anything, got work in a few hours, but until then I'm just playing The Sims, and I wish I could just play this for the rest of the day. It would be so much fun, just being able to create more houses. But oh well. Guess life comes into play. I also accent the dirt that I'm adding with sort of this brownie sand, which I did do in one of my other houses. I can't remember which one. I think it was Desert Oasis. But it turned out really nice. I decided I'd do like the foundation, so I kept that. And then I added in this sort of black staircase as well, which sort of matched the outdoor decking area. I also changed the color of the foundation, so I made it a little bit more white to match the walls of the house. The architecture of this house is actually really beautiful. It's quite simple, but the little shapes and changes make it look very interesting, so it's quite appealing to look at. I am especially a huge fan of this little front garden that I've created. The rest of the house is fairly symmetrical with the garden pattern sort of repeating. This repeats as well, but it's a very nice design. I like that I've used the hedges. They're some of my favourite new landscaping items. I think what I want to try in the future is I really want to try building a large house on one of the current pre-made lots, removing that lot and then just creating like a sort of mansion with large like outdoor area. So I wanted to try out the hedge fences and create sort of like a hedge maze, which would be really fun to do. I was seeing some uploads that just got featured on the gallery and they look fantastic doing that sort of hedge maze idea. The house was beautiful itself as well, but I really liked that idea, which is really cool about the gallery because you're able to grab hints and tips and tricks and stuff like that from other people. You can share lots. It's all really, it's quite a good idea, the gallery, I think. I definitely prefer it over the Exchange, even though I'm not getting as many downloads as I did on the Exchange. The main thing is to just upload and share your creations, and if people eventually follow me on the gallery, you'll be able to find all my creations. So it targets an audience who really, really would like to specifically get my creations, or you can specifically get certain people's creations, which I think is really awesome. I accent this little area with a lot of different flowers. It turns out very colourful in the end. I've already chosen the screenshots for part 2 and 3 of this video, and they look awesome. I actually used some interior images for those parts. I could also maybe use some of the, like a shot of the landscaping here, which is actually very beautiful. I also don't understand how you can place garden objects on the foundation, but you can't place a fountain, like the fountain tool, which is really silly. And I also don't know why they made fountains but not pools. It seriously would not have taken, I can't imagine how much more effort it would have taken to actually animate pools. I don't think it would have been that much more effort. They should have done it. This game is fantastic, but I do feel like they've sort of released it a little bit early, which is fine. I just hope they go back and they actually fix some of the things that they've left out, and hopefully they do that for free as well. But we'll see. But this is fantastic, fantastic game, and I'm having so much fun with it so far. Definitely rate it highly. I actually accidentally put the stairs in the wrong way here. So this was a really nice idea, sort of created this sort of children's area. I guess this house isn't really a bachelor pad, more so like a family contemporary house. Which is pretty funny because I actually call it the bachelor pad and I'm not changing it now. Maybe I could change, or maybe I could change it to like 21st century modern house. That could be cool. That would make more sense. So maybe if I do change the title and you're still listening, that is why it's not a bachelor house. I also like this little chair and bin that I placed out near the monkey bars. I actually need to create a household with a child so I can actually see the monkey bars in action. That should be really cool to look at. I add in my favorite sort of brick, stone pattern, and then I add in this little sand pat, so it's like a, what is it called, like a sand pit. The kids can, if they fell, they can fall onto the sand, which is a lot safer than falling onto bricks. I was thinking about adding this tree in the middle and then creating sort of like this seating area around it, but I decided against it in favour of a picnic table. I also didn't want to do too much with the interior in this part. Again, this is what I was talking about before, creating sort of a similar pattern of flowers, an arrangement of flowers. So I go with like orange, yellow, white, and then I repeat that pattern. It does look quite nice, and it sort of shows, it makes it look like the gardener of this house actually tried, which is great. So it's not just a random array. I prefer much more symmetrical flowers, or at least something that looks pretty, and then I put sunflowers in between each of them to keep it quite consistent. So I'm just going to add in some lights to the outside of the house now and try to brighten up some of the areas. I add these little floor lights in. They're circular and they're quite modern, so I'm a huge fan of those. And I also add in some wall lights out the back and on the balcony, I think, which brighten it up. I think this house looks best during the morning and the afternoon. It just depends on where it's situated and how much light gets into it, really. That depends on how nice a house is going to look. I've only added a few rocks into this house as well, which is different to Dusty Modern, I think I called it, and Desert Oasis, which I used lots of rocks to actually outline the garden beds. I do create the outdoor barbecue area in this. I thought I was going to go with some counters, but they didn't connect properly, so I decided against that. Um, Add in more bins. You can never have too many bins in The Sims. Then people will always be able to clean up really easily, which is very, very good for, especially when I play The Sims. My Sims are always messy and it takes way too much time to go out to the front bin. I decided to go with this pretty simple sort of picnic table, add in some nice flowers, and then I also added a fountain here, which looks very nice. Especially when you play this, you can see the water running and stuff like that. It's all animated, which is great. I always like seeing animated objects in The Sims. I think I put a little rug underneath it as well, which sort of accents it. So I'm just about finished with this part. So thank you for watching, if you've stuck with me till here. There will be parts 2 and 3 coming over the next few days. Please leave any suggestions in the comments. I hope you do like this. The download is available on the gallery. Search hashtag Jasonmazda. Bye guys.